Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Mr. Klingeman, this is Mrs. Brown. We are using Google Hangouts for the first opportunity in time to try to introduce to you the upcoming AAJHS Freshman Academy. This is being recorded and will be available for us to look at later. If you look on the right-hand side of your screen, there is an opportunity to ask questions. We're going to do our best to present the process first. You can feel free to ask questions as you go, and we will come back to them at the end and answer them. So first off, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Don't know how many people are watching us right now, whether you're on YouTube Live or you're just watching through Google, but we're really excited that you're here. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to screen share and take you through a little presentation and walk you through what the Freshman Academy is all about and the opportunities that you and your child or whoever's watching are going to be having with this. So just give me a second because this is new software for us as well, and we will go ahead and get started. All right, so we should still be live, and that is great. And we're just going to go ahead and get started here and kind of walk through the whole process. So full steam ahead. STEAM does stand for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math, and STEAM is a major foundation of the AAJHS Academy. We're really, really excited that your students will be able to be involved in this. So, to begin, we have this quote in here because it's very important to us. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. We feel that for too many years now, we have only been producing really, really good test takers. We give them some information, they take that information, and then they pass the test, and we really have no reason of doing anything other than to get a grade. And Mrs. Brown and I and a couple other teachers in the district are very frustrated, and we wanted to come up with a new plan, and we think that the AAJHS Freshman Academy is going to beat that. So that's why we say in terms of lighting a fire, we're excited to be building the opportunities for everyone in the future. So today's school model is the same model that was designed for the United States students in the 1800s, and we still continue today to use that. And we don't know why. We're very confused as to why. Same desk, same chairs, same textbooks, lectures, periods, it's all the same. And even the classroom pictures that you're looking on your screen now are very similar to what you would see today. And it's very frustrating for us as teachers because we know that all of our students are 21st century students, and in fact they're not even students, they're learners. And we're trying to change the vocabulary here in Altoona, making the shift from student to learner, teacher to learning facilitator. So we need to start treating all of our students this way. 21st century schools, you'll see some pictures on your screen that are very, very clear as to what we're expecting. Comfortable, options, technology, science, engineering, math, all of these focused into the daily learning schedule of our students. But we're not really doing that enough. And a lot of it comes, after school and extracurriculars, and we're looking to actually superimpose this into the regular school day and completely flip the modern day classroom. So what we're going to do is we're going to share with you a quick video that hopefully will introduce some of the AAJHS Academy to you. This video is also available to you on the website, aajhsmcl.weebly.com, and it's under the Learn section.
It's the same thing, day after day. Schools were created to give you a one-size-fits-all education. Until now. The future of education train has arrived in Altoona, and the conductor is you. By scheduling the AAJHS Freshman Academy, you'll finally have more control of your future. The Academy includes your 9th grade English and Algebra 2 courses, along with a newly created MCL seminar. MCL stands for Mass Customized Learning, which allows you choice in how and when you learn. What makes this academy special? You can choose to schedule the academy courses at an academic or at an honors pace. You can stay a step ahead of your fellow classmates by gaining an extra seminar credit and valuable practical experiences that are unlike any opportunity at an offer. During seminars, you'll have the freedom to build your knowledge with inquiry learning projects that will satisfy your natural curiosity for the world around you by connecting topics in English and algebra with the real world. In addition to being meaningful to you, these projects serve to empower you to be successful in many different spheres of your life, while integrating themes in science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. The internet puts the world at your fingertips, so the Academy encourages you to bring your own technology device. In the Academy, technology integration serves as a guiding light for your learning plan. Since your English and algebra courses operate mostly online, you choose the pace at which you learn the topics. Your learning facilitators, your teachers, will be available during academy time to instruct, assist, and enrich your learning. You'll be responsible for meeting certain benchmarks, but your daily learning experience will never be the same. Learn with a small group, job shadow, engineer a class project, receive independent tutoring, complete coursework tasks, or lead a student-sponsored community service event. With customized learning and AAJHS Freshman Academy, your learning opportunities are endless as you transform into the lifelong learner you are meant to be. Each day is your day. Each day is your future. Where will your education training take you?
All right, so that was our video that is available, like I said, on the on our website as well. And I skipped ahead a little bit here, I apologize. And just for those of you that may just be joining us, I'd like to remind you that only if you're logged into a Google Hangout are you going to be able to ask questions of us, but the rest of you will still be able to watch it live on YouTube. And we can still take questions at another webinar, which we're going to do next Tuesday. And then again, we're going to do a face-to-face meeting with parents on next Wednesday. So we're really excited to get to actually talk to some parents as well. So we're just going to go ahead and keep moving along here. Give us a second to get caught up. All right. So I'm going to let Mrs. Brown take over here for a little bit and explain to you what the Academy is kind of all about.
So this is a learning experience for us also. This is going to be a pilot program where we're trying to create an environment for learners that has them embrace lifelong learning. We will not just be filling a pail. We're going to use technology. We're going to incorporate practical application. We want our learners to be empowered to deal with, live in, work in, contribute to a rapidly changing world. Of course, that involves a tremendous amount of technology.
So in basic form, and like I said, we're going to get into this a little bit more, but like the absolute skeleton of the Academy is the following. So again, now we're going to be thinking as ninth graders next year, as freshmen. The Academy will be built on 140 minutes a day, so that will be the ninth grade 6th period, lunch, and 7th period. We're trying to create an environment where there's flexible learning time, so to have the Academy scheduled over lunch, that gives the students a chance to eat with their friends if they want, or they can take advantage and use that extra lunchtime to work on some projects, do some extra work, get in touch with their friends that are in their classes and be able to really start to keep ahead. For the first year in the pilot year, we are only doing Honors Algebra 2 and Honors English 9. We're hoping that we can work out all the bugs for the following years and be able to offer this in academic and other levels as well. As the video said, virtual learning is at your own pace on your own time. Now that does not mean the teachers will not assist and enrich, but it's what we call a flipped classroom, where learning is actually occurring on the student's time, and then we come back into school to help take that learning and expand it.
Because what we've learned is that research shows that a lot of what students are learning in school right now could be learned just as well, if not better, online.
In fact, it's like, I think, 65 to 70%. So we feel like almost that we would be doing service to the kids to actually take this and flip the classroom into a really awesome environment. The great thing about the virtual learning is it does allow for students to have their own learning opportunities, whether it's independently, if they work better independently, if they want to learn with a small group or a large group. In fact, it's really cool to think about that. 4 students who are on the same level of math that are working at the same pace go to each other's houses in the evening and say, we're going to spend an hour today working on a math lesson and help to teach each other. We're not trying to take teachers out of the picture. We're trying to better use the profession to help learning.
And that's why we're considering ourselves facilitators of learning rather than teachers and lecturers.
Our district is moving to a bring-your-own-device structure, and we are really interested into seeing how this can play into our classroom. So the Academy will be the first pilot program in the school, in fact in the whole district, where students are going to be able to bring in their own iPads, their own Surfaces, tablets, smartphones, etc., and use them. And the cool thing is that the curriculum that we will be using can be done directly from the phone, directly from a tablet, or from a laptop. So you don't have to have these devices in school. If you do decide to use them, that's your own discretion, but the opportunity for it will be there. And like I said, since a lot of the learning is going to be occurring in the students' own time outside of school, the chance to be able to use the technology for in-school projects is even greater. But one thing that is probably the most important part, I think, of the whole academy is the inquiry learning projects. We're finally taking the projects that we would normally give to students and we're making them the student's choice. So we're really giving some customization and some opportunity for the kids. Especially for those in honors, they're actually going to earn an extra academic credit. So students would actually leave 9th grade with 9 credits that will be leveled at a 3.5 level, which is the honors level. So students that are really focused on building a high GPA and worrying about class rank will be able to benefit from the academy seminar period as well. There is a lot built around community service, projects, field trips, and career-oriented opportunities. And the best part is there will be 2 learning facilitators in the classroom every day. And I almost don't even want to say classroom because we're kind of removing that language. It's the learning environment. And what that looks like yet, it's really, really exciting to think of. But we are continually dreaming about the good stuff that's going to be coming here in the fall of the school year. So Mrs. Brown's going to talk a little bit about the seminar component, which is very much, I think, the foundation of a successful academy, which I think everyone will enjoy as well.
Right, and this flexible learning time where the mathematics learning and the English learning will be happening outside of the classroom, we now have this flexible time where this seminar will happen, and we can do a lot of those small group and large groups. But as Mr. Klingerman said, students will be able to choose their own inquiry projects. And these inquiry projects are going to be based on what we're calling the Altoona Area School District Unlimited Spheres, Learning Spheres of Life. And as you can see them listed there on your screen, these are the spheres that students will be living in, working in, dealing with in the real world. So we thought that they could be able to have their choice in some projects they would create on their own, choose on their own, where they're meeting learning objectives in each of these spheres. Some of them, social media is huge, and we thought that students would be able to explore maybe, compare different social media outlets that they're using, learn how to use them responsibly, learn the dangers, relationships with their families, with their teachers, with their teammates. So every learning sphere has a place in the student's life. What will be the next thing? Because in the seminar, when these students are receiving 3 credits, these 3 total credits, they're going to involve a certain amount of work. One of the main goals is a career capstone project, where they'll work all year on exploring a career they might want to be involved in after they graduate from high school. So it's really learner-focused rather than the teachers dictating what projects and opportunities they're going to get.
If you look on the website, and again, we'll talk about the website here in a little bit as well, but the website actually has some, under the question and answer section, you'll actually be able to see a little bit of the sample ideas that we've come up with and opportunities for the students that they could be able to use for some of the seminar themes.
Right. And the seminar, this is the second point there, the seminar will also, we will have the time to start bridging English and Algebra 2 curriculum in addition to bringing in real-world applications where we usually don't have enough time for, but taking that and the instruction outside of the classroom offers so much more opportunity to see where you use the math, where you will use the English and the grammar and the things you're learning, everything in life, how to be excellent readers and critical readers.
And it's really funny too because when we think about this, English and math are usually so far apart, and what we're trying to do is to bring them together to see the real purpose. I mean, even when you think of like PSSA and testing, well, you have to be proficient. There's reading and there's math. That's really what it is.
Right.
So a little bit more about the seminar component. Now we're going to talk specifically about STEAM. Our school district is moving toward a focus of STEAM. Again, that stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. And learners will use their natural passion for inquiry to propose, research, and execute these inquiry learning projects, which we call ILPs, that are built, again, on the learning objectives in each sphere of life. And there is more information about this on the website, and we can point that out a little bit later. But it's really, really cool because there may be students that are completely art-oriented. Well, why shouldn't they be able to create projects that benefit their interests?
Right.
Why do we continue forcing students that may learn one way when they could be showing us they're learning in another? And that's really the goal of the academy, is to give every student a customized learning opportunity.
So we'll see their strengths in their projects. strengths. They'll pull out their artistic strengths or maybe their engineering strengths, and they'll be able to showcase those.
Absolutely. So some of the benefits to the learner that we've come up with. Well, one, personal learning needs are met exclusively during the Academy seminar and beyond. The opportunity for networking and connections here are huge, and we're really excited about the interest that is gaining behind this project. In fact, this whole entire project for Mrs. Brown and me was an inquiry learning project.
Absolutely.
And it's been a real empowering opportunity for us to be able to create something like this. And even today when we talk to your students in class, it was really exciting to see some of them like fidgeting in their chairs because we knew that they've been wanting something like this. Again, one of the big benefits of this is that we are now talking about learning at the learner's optimum rate. We don't have to have every student following the teacher's same lesson plan because, again, the lesson plans are no longer in charge. The teachers are no longer in charge of the lessons. The students are. So that's the really cool part. Like, for example, maybe there's a really big concert coming up and you're in the chorus and you're meeting after school every day and you're getting behind in your other classes. Well, most of our benchmarks that we'll be setting for the students are every 2 to 3 weeks. So if a student's behind a little bit, it's not like they can't catch up. Every day is going to be a different learning experience for every kid. And even we talked today about going on vacation. There's no more asking the teacher what you're going to miss. You know exactly what you're responsible for because it's all through digital learning.
And easily accessible with the
Very
internet.
easy, yes, especially now that, I mean, there's been research done in videos where students will be on the bus doing their math lessons and their English lessons on the way home so that when they come back into school, their homework's already done. We're talking taking quizzes and tests and ratings, everything done at the palm of your hand. Again, we talked about the chance to advance as far in as time as motivation will allow. The opportunity actually for some kids to finish the course early is actually possible. And we have opportunities to even start to open up different courses for the kids to start enriching their experience. So I know I talked to a parent today that was interested. So this sounds like a really awesome opportunity to enrich my gifted child. Yeah, this is it. This is really it because the opportunity for us to continue building more and more into your students, your learners' learning plan is awesome. We talk about the elimination of fear and failure when boredom, this happens all the time. We have kids that are so bored and there's nowhere else for us to put them. Well, this allows us to actually give them what they need and be able to continue moving at what is best for them.
They totally own. They have ownership.
Yes,
They have ownership in the course.
And then learning opportunities occur in several formats. And I know kids are really excited about this. We're moving from where the teacher is standing up and talking for 45 minutes, and then the student leaves, does some homework, and comes back and takes the test. Again, we're talking about this new flipped environment where the student goes home, does their lesson, which may take 15, 20 minutes. I mean, they're not extensive. And then they do some activities to show their learning, and then they come back into class and they work on their seminar projects. They maybe will be doing community service. Maybe they're at a guest speaker who's talking about science because they're really interested in that.
But the opportunity, though, is there to get assistance if they're struggling with something. So it's not like they are left on their own to learn it. They could come in and maybe I would have to do a small group lesson with students who are struggling with the concept. So all the opportunity for assistance as well as enrichment are in that flexible learning time.
And we think that that's the best environment for our kids and what they absolutely need. So other benefits, again, there's a lot of research and coming forth about STEM. Many of you have already heard that. And now the Altoona School District is focusing on adding A to that for the arts. So we're looking at STEAM, and it's really cool that Altoona is actually really built on STEAM with the railroad and everything there.
Very ironic.
And again, it's based learning opportunities and assessments, brainstormed by the learners. Okay, it's no longer us saying this is a project we're going to be working on. It's saying, okay, how do you want to show us your learning?
What do you want to work on?
What can you do? What can you do? Again, we're talking real-world learning from real people who are working in the industries. The one sample that you'll see on the website is maybe a kid's really interested in business and wants to work in a restaurant someday. Using the connections that we have established from the academy and the connections that come from the parents that are involved and everything else, we're looking at maybe saying, hey, we have a general manager of a restaurant that wants to take this kid in. And during the academy time for an entire week, the kid's actually not going to be in school. They're going to be in the restaurant working. And some of the learning objectives that they may be able to accomplish from their project that they'd be working on could be, for example, like science. Maybe it's developing a new recipe for that restaurant.
And how authentic is that learning? It's not the traditional teacher just talking about a career or we read about it in a book. They're actually in the field in that environment working or learning about all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the nice thing is we encourage and will be assisting students to kind of focus a shift of STEAM of all areas. But again, we know that every kid is not going to be so forth with engineering. But again, research does tell us that the jobs in the next 10 years that are going to be needed most are careers within science, technology, engineering, and math.
So where we can insert them, the more we can insert them, the better.
We're looking to, again, observe, collaborate, support, and solve problems and reach goals with successful adults in the school and the Altoona community. We want this to be the bridge to join our community together. And again, the really cool part is that they'll be getting the additional credit of coursework at the higher level. So when we talk about some students being completely motivated by GPA, by class rank,
right,
this puts them at a step ahead. So more benefits, fine, but most importantly, what we are trying to get all of our students, and this is probably going to fit more better with what the parents are going to want more than what our students are looking for. But again, we want every learner to leave the academy to become a lifelong, well-rounded, innovative thinking, curiosity-chasing, self-motivated learner of the 21st century. So again, as the students are preparing for post-secondary education in college, we're trying to capture some of that within the academy, where there is a lot more independent work done, but then there is that opportunity for flexible learning that you don't really have as much in college even. So we're really excited about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if your child is interested, if you are interested, if your learner is interested, there are things that we will be expecting of them. So we're calling this a Learner's Pledge, and you'll see there will be different forms, applications online that your learner will be filling out for this process. We expect them to be motivated, motivated to work independently and realize that it will be outside of the regular school day. There will be work that needs to be done. So time management is a huge, huge benefit. It's a necessity for this academy to happen. We will be setting. Oh, do you want to finish?
No, I was just going to say again, and I know some kids were getting really scared about this. Mm-hmm. We're not saying that there will not be opportunity for them to be doing some instruction in class. The opportunity will be there, but again, we're not focusing on the content of the curriculum as much as we are as the students building their own learning opportunities.
Correct. So that's why we have to focus much of the flexible learning time during the school day on that, so we can facilitate those projects. We talked about students moving at their optimum rate. However, we will have to be setting some benchmarks, weekly, monthly, quarterly. There will be learning goals and benchmarks. We'll be checking and helping students reach. Maybe they're ahead and we encourage them to keep going, or maybe they've fallen a little bit behind and we need to provide some encouragement to help them get back to where they should be. There will be a community service expectation, and there'll be opportunities maybe during the flexible learning time, and then also outside of school. Maybe we'll do it as a large group, and maybe students will do part of it on their own. We expect students to be involved in at least one extracurricular activity, whether it be a sport, music, drama, I guess art would be inside there. Even if they take lessons outside of class, that maybe not necessarily related to school. We do have expectations that they will have met proficiency on their 7th and 8th grade PSSAs, and we do expect them to have some clue about technology, to be familiar with how an iPad or smartphone work, so we can incorporate apps and things like that, Google Docs, and which most of them are very familiar with here at the junior high.
So there are 4 of us currently involved in this project. Mrs. Brown will be the math learning facilitator. Right now we have 2 learning facilitators scheduled for English 9, so it's either going to be myself or it's going to be Miss Kathy Morgan, who's currently a 7th grade teacher and also my assistant for drama that some of you may know if you have worked with me before. And we also have an exceptional learning coach that's going to be able to help us in terms of special education needs with those students who do have a gifted IEP. We're looking to actually be able to work more towards fulfilling the goals of the IEP. The website is listed on your screen right now. Some of you may have already been to that, and that is AAJHS-MCL. Again, MCL does stand for Mass Customized Learning.weebly.com. And we're just going to take a quick second to show everyone a little bit around that website so that you have a little bit more familiarity with it as you go. So I'm just going to start with the home page, and again, if you click on the home page, you will see some opportunities that are listed there, some quotes that we find to be really, really important And there's actually some research that we've included here as well that we think will be beneficial to curious parents. Under the home screen, you're going to be able to see the mission, why we're doing this. Again, it's so important. It's so important that you understand that we started with the why, understanding why we wanted to do this and not how we were going to do this. So once we figured out what that was going to look like, then we were able to start to create the program.
It helped us keep our focus.
And again, the program is being built as we go. We have a really good foundation, so you may see a couple of discrepancies versus what we're talking about, which may be a little bit different on the website. Some of them we are going to talk about today as well. What I would really like everyone to be looking at some point, and again, we're not going to spend all the night talking about this, but the how does go into a little bit more depth about the curriculum, the seminar, the inquiry learning project, and again, anywhere where there is a red words, those are hyperlinks which you can click, which will take you to more information on those topics. And again, the big part of the independent or inquiry learning project is also that there is that capstone project, which the students will be working on the entire school year. And then finally, at the end of the year, the learning facilitators and all of the supervisors and job people, the career people that they've been working with, there will be a really cool presentation at the end where the students are going to be able to show that they're learning. So this graphic is really, really important, and we can see here that we have the English 9 class, we have the Algebra 2 class, we have the seminar class, and again, though that looks like it's 3 classes, it's scrunched into 2.5 periods of time. So they're earning 3 periods. And again, lunch is their choice of how they want to choose that time. But you'll see that it all comes down to the year-long inquiry learning project, which I think we're really, really excited about sharing with everyone. And again, there's some more things that are listed in here that you can look at your own time. A couple other things that we want to talk about. There is the opportunity and the requirement of a family partnership, and I'll let Mrs. Brown talk about that.
Right. So, I mean, we think, of course, families are the integral part of the learning process, and it's definitely a partnership between the family and the facilitators. So, communication and collaboration is necessary to make this successful. And we're hoping that the parents become really involved in everything. We will have expectations for parents of Academy members. We want them to be promoting, want you to be promoting lifelong learning for them, and we hope you can help us. If you have a profession that we could call upon to offer ideas for some connection between English and algebra, or maybe a student is interested in something regarding your profession, we hope we can look to you for help and guidance, for some resources that we'd be willing to share or lead us to for those students.
And as this is a pilot program, we are looking to schedule meetings throughout the school year in which everyone tries to come together to communicate. And obviously we'll be communicating the entire school year, but we really want to call upon the families to help us build this because, like I said, it is building.
Right.
And, you know, the most dangerous phrase in the English language is we've always done it that way. And we don't want the Academy to get into that stagnant area where once it gets started, it stays the same. We want it to constantly be changing. And
it's going to have to evolve with the students.
Absolutely, it will evolve. We're going to skip the application part, which I'll talk about in a minute. I want to move down here to the bridge component, which is a really, really important part of the Freshman Academy. The bridge component, this is a really great quote that Mrs. Brown and I found. It really sums up what we're trying to do with the Academy. Tell me and I will forget, show me and I will remember, involve me and I will understand. Well, that quote usually, it's kind of been translated in a bunch of different ways, but we don't ever get that last sentence.
Which is powerful.
Step back and I will act. And that is the guiding light of the bridge component.
And how often do we do that for our learners? We don't do it very often in the traditional setting.
Because time doesn't allow for that.
Absolutely not.
And again, it's not even here, it's everywhere. Every brick and mortar school falls into this same exact problem.
It's been a tradition. It's been our tradition.
For how many years now? Yeah. So BRIDGE is an acronym that stands for Building Relationships Through Interdisciplinary Global Education. And what's really cool about that is as the program continues to grow, our district is moving towards adding more STEAM components to our elementary schools. We're looking at different programs, learning opportunities at our high school, and obviously our junior high school academy is a big part of this. So the bridge components is going to bring those all together. And so what Mrs. Brown and I did is we actually came up with some sample bridge activities that may be done on maybe like once a marking period. But what we're trying to do is to get the kids out of their classroom environment, out of the learning environment, and moving them into the community a little bit more as well. It's doing the stepping back and acting, excuse me.
Right, and they can demonstrate what they've learned,
Absolutely.
not just on paper and pencil.
One of the major units of freshman English in most countries, in most states and schools around the nation is Romeo and Juliet. And part of the Elizabethan era that we do talk about a little bit is, what it was like to live during the Black Plague and what it was like to fight during that time. So the one project that we would be looking at would be when we study in English in Romeo and Juliet, Elizabethan weaponry, we'd be talking about the catapult. And a cool thing about this is the catapult ties directly into math.
Yeah, quadratic equations, which is a huge chapter traditionally in Algebra 2 course.
So what we're looking at is that, for example, and again, these are all just sample days and times. On the one day, Mrs. Brown and I teach a lesson. We're talking quickly about how this project can move the students the content again, and then we start to work with them to help prepare that for an elementary school in Altoona. So an elementary school that may be really focused on STEAM-based activities, we would take that over to them. The kids would then be paired up with the younger students, and they would work to actually build a catapult for the high school. The kids, the junior high kids, would be working with the little kids to build an actual catapult using the science and the technology and their knowledge of all of this to make this happen. But then the biggest part of the bridge is then the junior high academy students going back into the elementary schools and helping those students prepare their own mini catapults. And you can see that we have one here as a sample where rather than throwing like water balloons out in front of the IM field that we may be doing in the academy, the little kids would be maybe doing a marshmallow throw using their knowledge of science and technology. Another one is a little bit more towards the arts, as we are moving towards integrating the arts into this, to the academy and to the district a little bit more. Maybe, for example, the academy facilitators are able to secure a grant. One group that's really popular that travels around the country is called the Chamber Performing Group, and they actually have lessons and theater performances that are all based in science, math, and literature. Pulling in those lessons and having our kids go to the elementary schools that are focused on STEAM and writing their own scripts, developing their own learning, and then performing their learning, maybe for the school itself, but I even see it inviting the whole community to be able to see this. And maybe it's for a fundraiser. Maybe we charge $1 at the door or a canned good, and everyone that comes in, we donate that. And it's the community service again, yeah. So again, the importance of the bridge to become competitive in the continually growing global market. Our learners cannot simply show their learning on a paper and pencil test. Learners must be able to show, share, and involve their experience with other learners in the community. Bridging the elementary, middle, and senior high school learning opportunities will not only produce authentic being a key word there, learning outcomes, but build on team-building skills and inquiry learning. Just a couple more places. If you do click on the long-term plans, we do have some ideas about how the long-term plans are coming along. And I know a lot of people are concerned about what happens when they go to the high school. We have hopes that the project will continue to grow, and the students that are involved in the academy next year will be able to continue on at least their English and math classes in the academy in the future.
So that's part of the building we will do this year also.
Absolutely. You can see here under our Learn tab, if you click on Learn, we do have some literature, the video that you have, and we have a flyer that every student was given today. And all students that scheduled Honors Algebra 2 for the fall, regardless of the academy, will be receiving this literature probably tomorrow in the mail. It does include a letter from us introducing you to the seminar, the academy. Yes. It has the instructions on how to view the webinars, and it also will have this the pamphlet, which does a nice job at explaining everything as well.
And just as a side note, it does also contain the letter regarding the summer Algebra 1 review that is required of all Honors Algebra 2 students.
Under the FAQ here, we do have the webinar link, which most of you use today to connect to us, and we do have a discussion forum, so even if it's after hours, you can post your questions, and Mrs. Brown and I will do our best to get back to you there. If you actually click on the FAQ, there are questions. We have been talking to parents and students about this already, and some of the questions that they've developed are actually on here. So
I think we did our best to try to answer them.
As many as we can.
As many as we can.
Our contact information is here, including our email addresses. We do suggest that you email. We can get back to you much faster via email than we can over the phone. If you do have burning questions and you're not comfortable sending them via email, we may ask you to please attend the face-to-face meeting next Wednesday night. Under this here, applying and maintaining membership, there are certain requirements that the students have to be involved in, and you can read about those, the extracurricular we talked about, the community service we talked about. And this is something that's very, very important that I think parents are going to be pleased about. Do you want to explain the weekly learning?
We were hoping, we said about time management being a crucial, essential skill for our learners. So we want our students to come in the beginning of the week with their weekly schedule already planned. And we're hoping to take the first day of the week and meet with each student individually and go over that plan. So they're fitting in their social life, they're fitting in their sports, their activities, their other classes. We do understand they will be taking other honors classes and electives. So we want them to come up with a weekly learning schedule and demonstrate time management skills so that they're meeting all of their benchmark. But we want to take actual time this week, or at the beginning of each week, to go over that and say, yes, this will work. But it will also help us as facilitators, because if we see the weekly schedule and we can plan days that would best fit maybe a guest speaker. We know that we could have a guest speaker on this day because most of our students will be there. Or we know this day would not be good because a group of students will be out for a sporting event or a music event. So it's going to help coordinate everyone's schedule together, including the facilitators.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we're coming down to the end here, we do have the Apply tab, and as we are a digital initiative, we are looking to do most of our stuff digitally, hence why we're holding these webinars online. We want to get used to and want to get you folks used to operating in a cloud-type environment. So the application process will be done online, and you can actually apply right from our website. And you will see here that the application will open on June 4th, which is the day of the parent meeting, and will close on June 11th. So there are only 7 days in which to do this. So we ask that you please, once you've discussed this, and if you're really thinking about moving in this direction for the fall, that you will get those applications in as soon as possible. The facilitators and principals and other teachers in the building, a committee will be made, and depending on the amount of students that are involved and that apply, there may be the need for a lottery type system, depending if we see that there are more. If there are equal number, if there are over 40 students that are equally qualified for the thing there. I will tell you this, that on the Academy questionnaire, there are some questions that are going to require some impromptu answering, and we're not going to share them with you because we want to get the best answers from you at the time being, both from the parents and from the future Academy learners as well. So this application will need to be done with students.
And we asked them, we told students that we said we want you to think about your answers and not just rush through them. Think about why you want to be part of the, all the Academy and everything else we asked.
I think that is really about it. We're going to switch back over now, and I'm going to see if I can do this here. Back to the back to where we're going to be on the screen again. And give me just a second. All right, there we are. We're excited about all of this, and I see there are some questions. This is great. Again, if you do have some questions, please type them in, and we'll be glad to answer them in a second. The one thing that I also wanted to point out to you, too, is that we will be teaching, and I know this is backwards for you, I'm sorry, but some of you may be familiar with Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. The foundation of our seminar will actually be the 7 Habits of Highly Successful Teens. And a lot of the learning opportunities and exciting projects will be built through the 7 habits, being proactive, thinking with the end in mind, and etc.
It's going to be important for lifelong learning.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to just start to take this first question here, and it says, who will the facilitators be? I'm just going to select this, and okay, here we go. So the question is, who will the facilitators be, and is there a rotating schedule? Great question. Again, as of right now, Mrs. Brown will be the math facilitator, and then either Miss Morgan or myself will be the English facilitator for the course next year. And again, is there a rotating schedule? No, because we would have the same exact teaching schedule. We will be in the room at the same time with the kids and be able to do whatever works best. So for example, again, if the kids were struggling, maybe 5 kids were not understanding the quadratic equation and things like that in Algebra 2, but then we have 30 of them that are flying past. Mrs. Brown, during the academy periods, could say, okay, those 5 of you that don't understand, come with me, we'll do another mini lesson. That way, every kid is getting it on. So again, there is no rotating schedule. We are all together all the time. So I hope that answers your question. All right, next question. Coming in here, what time will the parent meeting be? The parent meeting on Wednesday, I believe, is at 6 o'clock. Is that correct?
I believe 6
o'clock. 6 o'clock. The doors at the auditorium, as well as on the what is that, 8th Avenue? 8th Avenue band room doors. Those will be open for people to enter the building as well, probably around 5:45. Again, we did invite over 100 students to attend this pilot program, so we're hoping that even if you have somewhat of an interest, please, 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 come out. We're excited to continue to share the vision that we have and the great support that our administration is giving us for this project, and it's just really, really taking off. So it's really cool about that too.
We've been very lucky to have all that support to
Yeah,
let us explore this.
absolutely.
It's just going to benefit
Yeah,
our
it's going to be
learners.
really, really cool. Some of the other questions that I know have popped up recently, some students were concerned that if they sign up for the academy and they don't get in, that they will be then changing their regular schedule in the fall. That's not it at all. That's not it at all. If you don't get into the academy and you originally scheduled maybe, academic algebra 2, you would still be in academic algebra 2.
Right.
Your schedule is not changing. There are some kids out there that only scheduled one of the courses for next year. For example, a student may say, well, I'm taking honors algebra 2, but I'm taking academic English 9.
Right.
For what we're doing right now is that we are actually they would be moved into honors if they get into the academy. So that's something that we're still working out the kinks in, but people don't need to worry about that.
Right. And because we hope eventually the academy will expand to academics and all other levels, but at this point we're piloting with the honors.
We're just getting our feet
level.
wet, and we're really looking into that. All right, so another question's coming up here. How will the students be selected? Students, again, we have a max limit of 40 students for the pilot program. So if we get 40 students, we will be blessed to be able to accept all 40 of them.
Right.
The interest today seemed to probably be, I would say, over 70.
Yeah.
So I think it is going to be a little bit competitive. So that's why we're saying that the application process is very, very important. Some students were concerned that, just because their grades aren't the best means that they would not be into the academy. That's not it at all. It's just like a college environment and atmosphere. It's a small portion of it, but we're going to be looking at, talking to other teachers now. We're going to be looking at the way the students and the parents respond to the questions.
Right, the questions.
We're going to be looking at GPA. We're going to be looking at the things that students do now, et cetera. So the application process is really, really important. And again, that will open next Wednesday and close 1 week later, I think on June 11th.
Correct.
We're going to just wait for another 2 minutes to see if any other questions come up. That gives us right around 45 minutes, which is exactly what we planned for. That was awesome.
How about that?
Again, there are still things as we develop that are coming up. And again, sometimes we don't have all of the answers yet, and we are working together with you. But we really want this to be a team project where parents and learners and facilitators are working together to build the most optimum learning environment.
Right. It's bridging the community, the school, and the families all together.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Just as a little side note, this is really exciting too, but the Secretary of Education has, for State of Pennsylvania, has been made known, does know about this program, and has shown a lot of interest into, hanging out with us in the fall and coming in and seeing, what's going on. And a couple curriculum companies that we've been talking with also have said that they have not seen a model such as this as well. But again, we honestly believe that this is the future of learning, and to be a part of it is going to be a really awesome experience, whether you're, as a student in here or working with, students outside the school or the community. We're really looking to bridge all of that together. It's
empowering for us. We want it to be just as empowering for your learners.
I'm trying to think if there are any other questions that came up that were, somewhat frustrating for people today.
I mean, a lot of them are on the frequently asked questions.
Yeah, and again, if you check out the frequently asked questions, we did try our best to answer those questions. You could certainly send us an email. We'll be glad to add the good questions to the website. And again, this is being viewed live right now, so this will be able to be taped and replayed. So if your friend's child wants to see this video, you're going to be able to see it online, and we'll put a link to it on the webinar page.
I was going to ask. We'll have a link to it so they can see.
On the webinar page.
And you're still more than welcome to view the next webinar and to attend the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, if you come up with additional questions and you don't want to email.
And again, like I said, the webinar that we're having on Tuesday is going to be, oh, great question just came in, sorry. The next webinar will be the same exact format as we're doing now, so if you want to get someone else involved in it, we invite you to have them come in and share your ideas as well. I don't know. Well, here, I have part of it. Hold on. I'll let you answer. Hit that next button, Mrs. Brown.
Okay.
So we got another really cool question.
And this question asks, where did this idea come from? Well, Mr. Klingeman and I read this book. It was called Inevitable, and it's about mass customized learning, and it put into print exactly what I have been thinking for many years now. I wanted to do something more meaningful for my students. I wanted to make the mathematics more real life, applicable application, applicable to their lives, and to give students skills for the 21st century, because I almost felt like I wasn't doing enough for them with that. I want to make them see the connections to mathematics to life. And this book put into print what has been going through my brain and empowered us to start thinking about this idea about how we could make some changes in education, in our classrooms, and maybe make this happen for our students.
It's really cool. And just a little bit more information where the idea came from. This book was our new superintendent, Dr. Otto, gave this to our new curriculum director, Dr. Lansbury, and Dr. Lansbury's vision has been to move towards this STEAM-based learning opportunities within Altoona. And I think as you continue your travels through the Altoona School District, you're going to continue hearing these new vocabulary terms such as learner, learning facilitator, lead learning facilitator, mass customized learning, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. This stuff is not going away.
No.
And this is just a really cool project to get started on it. So we're so pumped. And this was a really easy book for us to read. And like I said,
it's empowering.
It's very cool.
And we've been blessed that our administration has given us the support,
support
to explore this, because they know it's a great program, and it's going to be great for our learners.
Yeah, and we're hoping that that's what's going to keep building. So got a couple more questions coming in here, so we'll keep going here. Next question here. Will there be a fair share fees for field trips? Great question. Wow, fair share fees. Good question.
We didn't think of that one.
We didn't think of that one yet. However, I will tell you this. We will be applying for educator in residence and venture grants in the fall to help to create a bucket of, I don't want to say bucket, but a fund of money, and hoping that we can also maybe even do some fundraising, et cetera, to continue to help build the opportunity. The one good part about that is for field trips is though there will be some opportunity. The family partnership is really big in this. And for example, maybe your child is going to be working on this capstone project. They're by themselves working on this. We may be calling on the family as well to be a part of this and saying, hey, we need you to help arrange transportation for your kid to go to this location for a while. So again, we're going to do our best to secure funds to make sure that they're there for, maybe example, we take the whole group over to Penn State for a lecture with the students that they get over there, or a community service opportunity. But again, we're going to be asking for parental involvement as well. So I would probably say I don't think there'll be a fair share, because like I said, I think we're pretty sure that the grant money or the money the school will be able to get for us. So great question, though. These are great questions. I knew this was going to happen. All right, next question coming up here. Will the June 4th meeting provide different information? Should this meeting be attended if we have already seen the webinar? Great question.
I think we're pretty much going to say the same thing.
It's the same thing. We wanted to provide everyone with the opportunity and the chance to get as much information. If you're digital native, as the Inevitable book describes people as, versus being digital, what's the, I forget, the digital born, or there's some, whatever that is there. We wanted to be able to provide opportunities for everyone. So I would probably say, Mrs. Brown, I agree, you do not need to attend. If you do have other questions in the meantime, please feel free to either join the webinar and post the questions, or in the discussion board.
We will have the second one posted also.
Second one will be posted.
So if you wanted to watch it, you could, and then if that generated any more questions, you could always email us.
In fact, we should maybe set up the parent meeting to be on a Hangout as well. Maybe we'll just do that, so that maybe we get to watch the Hangout and broadcast the parent meeting for those that actually show up, and
see, we're building as we go.
Yeah, see, we're really doing a good job with this, huh? All right, so we're going to leave another minute for any other questions. I hope you can feel our excitement for this, because this excitement is growing, and as the term Mrs. Brown used mathematically today, exponentially, with teachers, with the students, with the administration, and hopefully also within the district. And we're hoping that in the fall semester starting up, that whether it's me or Miss Morgan, and the building of this and the opportunity to work with Mrs. Brown and everyone else, is just going to be a really awesome adventure.
Absolutely.
And we're so excited. And I'll tell you what, there was nothing more empowering today than seeing the kids
watch the students
get so excited for the opportunities that are presenting.
They were really excited about this. They thought it was pretty cool that we could actually have some some choice in what
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
learning. Yeah.
One other question that I will throw in there, because I know a lot of people were burning about it. You do not need to buy technology for this program.
Yeah, right.
You do not need to buy technology for this program. There will be laptop computers available to the students in the academy every day, okay? However, they must, or at least have access to internet after school somehow.
Right. It's one of the requirements.
Absolutely. The school does have what's called the Cyber Cafe, which is open from 7 to 7:30 and from 3 to 4:30 every day. Students can use those. It's also, I mean, again, whether you're doing all your work at Starbucks, you know, at a Wi-Fi spot or whatnot, again, there will be the opportunity. But it's really, really, it is true. I mean, look at Sheets. You go, it's customized. Why isn't learning customized? I don't know. We're making the change because it's inevitable. But yeah, so there will be that need, and again, the really cool part is that all of the learning will be able to be done on a cell phone, on an iPad, on a laptop computer. And in fact, right now, Mrs. Brown and I are actually watching us stream live to make sure that it's actually working, and I'm glad to see the questions are coming in, which makes it seem like it's working for us too.
We're learning too.
We are. Just not a question pops up, but a parent just asked who I happen to know. Not a question, but this sounds cool with all capital letters. It's
pretty
wicked cool in as our curriculum supervisor, instructor would say, wicked cool. So we're really, really excited about the AHHS Academy, and we're really hoping that you will decide to apply and that you can be a part of this really awesome adventure. So at that point, we are going to sign off for today. We want to thank everyone. I see that there are 12, well, minus 2, there are 10 of you that are watching through Google, and how many ever are watching live on YouTube. We're really, really excited. Again, this video will post. If you want to watch it through again and be able to manipulate it, you will get to see that. And again, we will have the same webinar next Tuesday, same time. We'll be doing the same process, and again, the same thing on Wednesday for the parent meeting. You don't have to attend all of them. Choose one. If you're really excited and want to come to all of them and wave flags, like great, we're excited about it.
We appreciate the support.
Yeah, it's a great support. We do have another question that just came in, because I know there is a delay, so I guess we should probably wait another minute. Let's answer this question that just came in. Is a Google Plus account necessary for participation? Absolutely not. And I know Google Plus is a social media tool, and it does have a lot of benefits in terms of research. However, all the Google account is needed for is to be able to watch. We were just trying to find a free webinar software that integrates well with Google, which is the foundation, going to be the foundation of our program as well. So you don't need to have Google Plus. A Google account is required though to be able to view the webinar and ask questions. So Tina, yes, you already have a Google account, obviously, because you are asking questions, whereas some of your friends who may just be watching live on YouTube don't have that access. So, but again, you can certainly log in and ask the same types of questions next Tuesday as well. And again, don't be afraid to send us an email if you have questions in the meantime.
Absolutely. It's the best way to get a hold of us.
Best way. All right. Well, again, folks, thank you so much. Oh, another one came in. Oh, great question. How will things be graded? Oh, is there a star here? Favorite this question. Yes, I'm favoriting this question. How will things be graded? Great question. Do you want to take that part?
Graded. Well,
several types of grading assessments, really.
There will be. We will obviously be looking at the coursework. I will look, for example, on all of the Algebra 2, I will be grading and looking at what they're completing online. We're talking about having some paper and pencil assessments, just because I would like to witness the students completing the objectives, mathematics objectives in front of me, rather than completely online. But the learning projects will probably have their own rubric, and we discussed about having students have some choice in the rubric. So
they design it. How should they be graded?
Right. Yeah. So when we were saying, maybe we'll set up the rubric that to achieve 100% on this, you need to do this, this, and this. However, if you are satisfied with a 95 or a 90, this is the level of expectation for that grade. So there will be some say and some choice in how they perform according to the rubrics.
Absolutely.
But the students there'll be set expectations for that.
And the curriculum that we'll be choosing online will have things that are graded and automatically put right into the student's grade book. We're right now actually interviewing companies for our new learning management software, which we will be using through the Academy, to talk about how things will be set up. So, for example, you may did a small lesson maybe during lunch in English class talking about character and plot structure or whatnot, and you decide to take the quiz that's on the phone or on your that's online. You could be taking that quiz right online. You get your grade, pops right over into your grade book so that you can see where you are. So there will be a complete mix of rubric grading, self-grading and reflection, portfolio-based grading,
right.
Paper and pencil in front of us. Again, the opportunity to have someone else do all this work is kind of out there. So that's why we are requiring for this pilot to make sure that some of it is done right in front of us to make sure we are getting the major concepts that are necessary. And then again, some immediate feedback through quizzes and tests right over the internet as well.
Right.
Good question. All right. So again, I think we'll try to sign off here. If any other questions pop up, please don't be afraid to ask. And again, as the questions come, save them for the next webinar, save them for the parent meetings, drop us an email. We'll add them to the FAQ page so that you can see the answers to that and everything like that. So we want to thank you so very much. We're really excited. I am like flabbergasted about how awesome this software is, and I think it's so cool that it's working. So if you have any interest in helping us be a part of this project, again, we are so interested in hearing about your ideas and reflections as well. So for right now, Mrs. Brown and I are going to sign off and say thank you again. We will post this video for you to check out later, and we will see everyone either on Tuesday or Wednesday, hopefully of next week, and hopefully we'll see you in the fall.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.